And I think we're live on Facebook. Good evening, everybody. It's time for Empowered Living, our friendly Girl Scout. Live on Facebook. Good evening, everybody. I've been waiting for you. I got it this time. Not soon enough, but yes, our weekly Facebook chat for the over 50 woman, I would say. Although, you know, we let under 50s come in and watch too, because there's lots of information. My partner in crime, Kathy, cannot be with us tonight. Her mother-in-law passed away and they had the funeral today, and it just wasn't going to happen. So I'm flying solo, but Mary's my sidekick tonight. Thank you, Mary. So, you got anything going in your diffuser? It's a little, I know it's different now that we're in the evening. You're not ready to fall asleep yet, right?
No, I'm not ready to fall asleep. Though I almost did, but yeah, lavender and orange.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
In my diffuser.
My bedtime combo is lavender, orange, and cedar wood. And for me, maybe I've gotten used to the lavender, I don't know, but the cedar wood is what knocks me out. It kicks up a notch, but the three combo I love. So cedar wood's nice. I have today, what do I have in there? Highest potential. And because I was thinking I have got to do something with my life, which sounds weird. You know, I'm retired, right? But I strongly believe that you still have a purpose in life and you don't just stop doing things. And I don't think I can ever stop doing things unless I'm mentally or physically incapable. So I'm always searching for, like, what is that purpose? What is that thing I should be doing and helping people with? So I put on the highest potential to maybe inspire me a little bit. And it's weird. Ever since I stopped deciding I was going to sell essential oils, and I'm still a brand partner and I'm still a coach and an educator for essential oils, but I don't push them. You know, I'm not gonna make my bank account rise anymore, you know, because it wasn't working for me, but I'm just looking for people to help that way, but not in a way that makes people feel uneasy or that they have to buy things. And, you know, if you love them, you love them. If you use them, you know their power, and that's it. And I can't change people's minds. But anyway, ever since I decided that, like, I signed up 2 new people, one at the beginning of last month and one at the beginning of this, or one at the beginning of the month and one at the end of the month. And then I just reactivated somebody with like a $300 order. So I'm like, how does that happen when I stop deciding I'm going to be doing it for a profit, you know? So that was cool. But anyway, so the highest potential is to help me focus. And that one has some powerful oils. Jasmine and ylang-ylang is in there. And it also is made with gathering, which is another blend in itself, which is, I think, cheating. You know, Young Living, that's cheating to put a blend in a blend. Just tell us what's in it. So gathering has frankincense and cedarwood and sandalwood, among some others lesser known. And that one's for focus and clarity. So I can see why they would put it in highest potential, because you have to be focused in order to, you know, get there. But it smells really pretty. And I don't know, I've gotten a lot done today. It's all been sitting at this table, at this chair, and this desk, but I've gotten a lot done.
I paid my bills today.
I think I did that yesterday, and I should have done it sooner, because, like, I never get the timing right. I should put up some reminders, but I don't know if it would work. Maybe I should. Anyway, that's my life hack. I segued right into that. My life. Do you have an iPhone or do you have a Samsung?
iPhone.
Okay, it's me too. And I love my iPhone. The thing I like the most about it is that it syncs with my other devices. So it syncs with my iPad, which I got when my mom passed because it was hers, and I was like, I'm taking that before my brothers come down. So I have, the iPad, so everything syncs to that, and it syncs to my computer because I have an iMac computer, so everything syncs. So I can do things from one device to the other, and it makes it so simple. I would prefer to sit here and text because my typing skills are better than my finger skills when texting. So, and lots of times I'll speak to it. But do you ever use the reminder app on your phone?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't use it enough, but I've discovered I need to start using it more because it's really very, very helpful. I'm trying to get clear out so I can show you.
I didn't even know there was a reminder.
Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like. Wait, what did I do with it? Okay, there it is. Okay. So on the phone itself, the reminder app, let's see if I can get a good picture. Now I can't find it, it's backwards here. It's this one here that has 3 dots.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking for something on your phone, you can, you can just kind of pull down here, or not there. You pull down so you get the search button and put in reminder or the beginning of reminder. That's what it looks like. It's close enough to the camera.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
On top. I see it.
Yeah. So I have used it over the years, but not as much as I'm using it now, or I'm going to use it. So I'm just gonna show you mine. Okay, so I think this is the actual app and not a picture. So I've opened this up on my desktop, but it's the same thing on the phone. So I renamed this. This was sort of like, I don't know if it was called daily or no, it was called appointments, but I was able to rename it to recurring because this is sort of my list of things to remind me to do it when it comes up. So like, here's change the air filters every 3 months. So the next time I have to do it is on December 15th. And then once I do it and I click that button, it disappears, but it'll pop back up almost immediately with the March date. So you always have it on the list, but it'll remind you and it'll go bing, bing when it's time on your phone so that you say, oh yeah, it's not like you have to look at this. It's going to send you reminders. Pruning, I can start pruning my plants in mid-March. I have to cancel an account that I signed up for. It was like $1 for 4 months or something like that. And I was like, okay, fine. But then it's going to automatically renew $40 or something. And I'm like, nope, you got to cancel that closer to that date. So I put in a safe date to cancel that. I keep forgetting to change my contact lenses. It's weird because I do have a note in, I don't know what that app is called. It's called Notes on the phone. And I always type in, I try to remember to type in when I put my contacts in so that I can see when to put them out, take them out, but that wasn't working because I wear them constantly. So now I have a note that says, change your contacts. It should say change your contacts, damn it. Because I always forget and I wear them way too long. And then cancel Val's Young Living order. So Val placed an order and we did loyalty, but she doesn't want to keep getting the same things. If she wants to do loyalty, she's going to switch it up. So I'm going to have to help her switch that. So that's a reminder for me. So little things like that will just pop up and it'll send me reminders. And then you can also keep lists. So I've got a daily reminder now because I'm always forgetting to take my Ningxia Red and MindWise. So now at 10 o'clock every morning, it's going to go Ningxia Red, MindWise. So we'll see if that works, right? It worked today. I keep a short-term to-do list, long-term to-do list, my reading list for Linda Loves Lavender or whatever. These are just like more nonfiction books that I should read for my own you know, intelligence, I suppose. And then some pleasure books, which for the most part, these have been on here a very long time. So now that I'm actually reading every night, I have to start hitting this list. These were just recommendations. I have movies that I want to see, and that's a very old list too. Things to do in New York City, New Jersey area. A wish list of things I want for Christmas or whatever. I don't have anything in family, but you can add different categories as well. And I've got, you know, under scheduled, these are the ones that are mostly coming from that recurring area, and they show you your schedule. You have things that are flagged. Yep. I don't know why I flagged them, but they're there. So nothing left to do today. And then you can see all of them if you want. So, but I find that it's very helpful now that I can get these reminders, because I don't know about you, but my brain's like, and when I was preparing for the hurricane, I would go from room to room doing something. And then I'd leave the room to go get something, and I wouldn't go back to that room for like 20, 30 minutes. And I'd go back and I'd be like, oh, I didn't finish that job. And I had half finished jobs all over the house. So my phone app, my life hack here is to help me remember to do certain things. And it's really simple to use. And it's on the iPhone. I tried to ask my brother and my son, who both are Samsung users, if they had something like that. And they do and they don't. Like, they were like, no, we don't have that, but you can do the same thing through their calendar on a Samsung. And there's a place that you can actually oh, well, this is a momentous occasion. I just overheard that Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees just got his 62nd home run of the year, meaning he's now gone past, the heck's his name? Roger Maris, who had 61. So I'm a Yankee fan. Momentous occasion. I did have, now I gotta find it. I did have Samsungs. So I'll just go through that in case anybody's watching with a Samsung, about how to use that same type of feature in the Samsung. Let me screen share to this. Okay, so you have to swipe up, tap your calendar when you swipe up. I don't know how these work. There is a calendar there. It could be any place on your screen. And then type that tap the menu icon, and then you can hit a reminder on a specific date and put something in. So it will also, and then you can also create an actual icon so that you can have that app as a reminder app on your screen. So that's a shortcut. I'm not going to say any more about that because I don't know the Samsung at all. And my husband had one at one time, but it's so long ago he doesn't remember. And he's enamored of those not flip phones, but the ones you can fold in half, you know. And he's like, oh, I want that. I'm like, well, if you get that, then your Apple Watch won't work anymore. Why not? Because it works with your phone. Oh well. So anything new with you health-wise?
No, I did. I started Noom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes.
I had some success.
I lost 10 pounds, but
yeah, that's good.
so,
that's good.
I have to do better. I tried to make oatmeal this morning. I forgot how to make oatmeal.
Oh, from scratch?
No, from scratch, yeah. Well, oats, and I'm like, this doesn't look right. It's like all water and the oats are on the bottom somewhere. I said, no, that didn't work. I think I put too much water in. And I tried steel oats.
Yeah.
And that didn't work either. So I was like,
you have to have I think you have to have a lid on it. And yeah, the measurements are kind of precise. It's like making rice. But I like the steel oats because they are like little I don't know, meatier, chewier. I don't know. There's something to
Yeah,
it, and I like those, but they're harder to make, and they're, it's like, I feel like every time I make them, I try to make a big batch and then put them in smaller batches in the refrigerator, but then we don't eat them. Like then we go off of a oatmeal kick and we don't eat them. So
I used to make overnight oats. I said I really have to look that up again because that was good. I'd throw
in a
everything
crock
in.
pot. Yeah.
I'd make 2 or
Mhm.
3. You didn't cook them. You just threw them in and you threw whatever else in was going in there. And they sat in the refrigerator all night and then you just grabbed them out in the morning.
Huh. No, I
And
haven't.
I might have
hadn't
put
seen that.
water in, but I never cooked them. I
Oh,
can't
wow.
quite remember how to do it. But I would throw blueberries in it and nuts and raisins and,
Sounds like my
maple syrup,
birthday.
a few things.
That's what I had.
But not a lot that it's gonna make that
Oh,
much
yeah.
of a difference.
Yeah.
It's a thing of oatmeal. So.
Yeah.
And it was in, oh geez, what is that? I could use that memory-wise things or whatever. it is.
Likewise.
You're always talking about, that's where you put your vegetables now, in those glass,
In the crisper or the,
not to cook them in the refrigerator. Mason jars.
oh, right.
That's how I did them, in the mason
Okay.
jars with the, smaller ones,
Right.
with the top on it all night long.
Mhm.
And then I would just get up in the morning and eat it cold, I think.
Yeah.
So, can't remember. It was years and years ago.
Yeah. I never
But
made them like that, but I did make them. My friend sent me a recipe for like a crock pot overnight. So you put them in the slow cooker and you cook them that way overnight. But sometimes they get a little dry, like too dry or too crusty. So I stopped doing them that way. We pretty much just use instant oatmeal now. And I'll put that in there. I'll add some, I have a protein mix that's chia seeds, hemp seeds, and some other kind of seed. What kind of seed? Chia, hemp, and something else. I forget what it is. And I'll put like a
the one,
tablespoon.
but I can't think of it. One
Hemp.
that's really.
I said hemp, right? Chia,
You
hemp.
said chia and hemp.
Is that your stomach?
You are not allowed to volunteer any information.
But I put that in there, heat it up, and then I'll add a little milk and some nuts and the blueberries and all that. Sometimes raisins too. I like the contrast between the raisins and the blueberries. Like the chewiness or the fresh pop of fruity flavors.
The frozen.
Oh yeah.
It's put the frozen ones in.
I know you like frozen foods.
I love frozen everything. You would freeze anything. I have a bag of red grapes. I'm debating whether to freeze them.
I think I have some in there, but I didn't enjoy them as much in the freezer. So they're probably still in there. Come on over, you can eat grapes. Well, last week we were talking about the that health diagram that I made up. And
Yes.
I added more to that one. So I'll share it now and then we can just say our piece about it and leave it. But I guess the reason I made that was for us to kind of look and see like where we should go with our empowered living talks. Like what's an area that maybe we need a little bit more help in. I need help in every area. I need discipline. But let me get that up there and then we could just take a look. So I did try to make all of the changes that we talked about on last week. It's gotten so big that it's really hard to see it all at once. I wonder if I can make it bigger. I can make it bigger so we can maybe just go around. So the healthy starts in the middle. And we've got spiritual health, mental health, emotional health, physical health. Think spiritual, social, mental, emotional, and physical. And then there's offshoots for all of those. So we added to exercise, walking under move naturally, and then also targeted exercise for those special needs. I think Gail had mentioned like strengthening your pelvic floor and doing specific exercises for that, or whatever occurs in your body. Like sometimes you just need specific exercises that aren't for your cardio or your muscle building, but just for targeted areas. So we added
Right.
that. Under sleep, we added environment, and we were talking about lights and sound and electronics that some of us are light sensitive and there can't be any light. So sleep masks might be used for a little bit, or you just turn all the lights off, right? Sound, some people need it to be totally quiet. Some people need the fan running. That's me. I need the fan running. If I don't have the fan running and hearing my husband's CPAP going, like that white noise puts me to sleep. And then eliminating electronics a couple hours before bedtime, because that can keep you awake. And then you offered up that you fall asleep listening to something with the headphones, right? Your stories.
Meditation. It's meditation things where they're psychologists or therapists or whatever, and they take you through stuff. Sometimes I'm awake, sometimes I listen to it and I'm like, well, this is not putting me to sleep. So then I just put a different one on, or I don't like this one or something, or I don't like their voice or something,
Yeah.
I'll put a different one on.
Doesn't work if it's irritating.
Yeah, it doesn't work if it's irritating. But most of the time, sometimes I can't even remember the fourth word because I'm gone,
Oh, that's good.
That's very rare, but other times I can listen to about 5, because they go and you hear, and when I wake up, I hear music because they put like a music on after, I guess.
Yeah.
I never hear the music begin, but I'm still hearing it in the morning when I wake up.
Wow.
So.
Adding to physical health, I put intuition because I don't know where I did with the note. I probably recycled it already, but listening to your body, trusting your instincts has a lot to do with your physical health. I think, like a lot of times I've heard lots of stories about people who go to the doctor, they don't get the answer they're looking for. They get some answer, but they're like, that doesn't feel right. I don't think that's right. And you need to listen to your body and maybe get that second opinion. And then they find out that that doctor wasn't right or didn't have the whole story. But by trusting your instincts and listening to your body and knowing your own body, you can discover when there's problems, right? You have that third sense, fifth sense, sixth sense, whatever it is. So I
told my son something about that today. He has his problems. So and he totally non-compliant with med. So I said, well, then we gotta start attacking this with food. We have got to start, dealing with it by the things you eat. Though he has a problem with eating certain things too, but I'll have to see if I can sneak things in.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's not a one and done for most health, so if there's something he won't eat, there's probably something else that will have the same effect that he would eat, but I keep going back to that anything that's wrong with you is probably what you're eating. And I was doing a little bit more, we'll talk a little bit about inflammation today, because I was doing a little bit more about that. And it goes back to like, what are you eating? And there's things that can help reduce inflammation, and there are things that are going to cause inflammation. And one of the big takeaways I had today was that it says, in accordance with our law of pain, the origin of all pain is inflammation and the inflammatory response. So like your pain is always started with inflammation, and you can avoid that inflammation by certain lifestyle choices and diets and things like that. So we'll talk about that later, but it all starts in your gut, and that's all related to what you eat. So I'm not sure I finished brain health. We talked a little bit, I don't know if we talked about it, but I was like, oh yeah, we got to talk about brain health. And so keeping your brain sharp, there were, I think when I did a little bit of discovery on that today, keep learning and discovering is one way to keep your brain sharp, and it's sort of an anti-aging measure as well. So keep on learning, don't ever stop learning. And then using those, I want to move these because I don't like the way they are, but this is a picture and not the actual diagram. I can't move. Brain teasers and puzzles, crossword puzzles, all those kinds of things are really helpful in keeping your brain sharp. Now, the brain health also goes to several other things, like getting enough water, having the right diet, exercising is good for your brain as well, getting enough sleep. And what is this one over here? Being social and having a group of people, that all of that goes back to brain health too. And then I decided to look and see how many things went to meditation. And so meditation is really close to healthy me in the center here. And if you notice, it's connected to physical health, sleep, brain health, spiritual health, mental health, stress, emotional health. Probably could connect it to some other things too, but it's good for what ails you. It's good for a healthy me, that whole meditation thing, which I don't do, and I probably should get to it. Changes in diet. I added the water. I added balanced diet, with your proteins, your carbs, your fats, vitamins and minerals. Adding supplements was already there, but I connected that because sometimes that's the problem, is we don't make enough, or we don't retain enough, or we just don't get enough of those vitamins and minerals. The limit or avoid got larger from our discussion last week. So sugar, salt, fatty foods and oils, alcohol, toxic ingredients, processed foods, inflammatory foods, and especially thinking about things like gluten intolerance and nightshades were two of the examples that we gave in that area. Somebody mentioned toxicity last week, and I put that into, like, I kind of added that with toxic ingredients in what we eat, but also toxic feelings. And I feel like it should also be someplace else, maybe in brain health, like toxic, like it's hard to know where to put that, because toxic chemicals in our lives can also affect your health. So I think that's off of physical health somewhere, but I'm not exactly sure where that would go, those chemicals. So toxic feelings, and under let it go. Just let those toxic feelings go, because all they're going to do is create stress, and stress creates inflammation, and inflammation creates pain, and the leg bones connect to the hip bone, and the hip bones connect to the pelvis. I don't know, whatever. I had my daughter, I sent this to her, and the first thing she said was, I don't have time to look at that. I got to get ready for work. I'm like, okay, whatever. But then a couple minutes later, she wrote back, under mental health, alone time. So she's the kind of person that really, really needs to be alone. Now, there are some people, I think everybody needs to be alone. Everybody needs that alone time. But I think there are some people who are afraid to be alone. And so they cling to their friends and their social life. They have to be busy doing something with other people all the time, and determinant of their self-worth. And so those are the people that really need to learn how to be alone, right?
Yes, I agree. I crave alone time.
Yeah.
Even if I'm driving to pick up the mail.
Yeah. Well, I am
no dog, no kid.
I'm not short of alone time, although the cats will come in, but I'm okay with that, because a lot of times they just want to be near me, and so they go to their perches around the room and stuff. But like Dick and I are really good at alone time. We just go off and do our own thing, and then we come together and do something together, and we go off. So it's a good balance for me that I get a lot of good alone time. Although for the last few days, not yesterday, but the last few days he's been home, we did all of that hurricane prep and all of that. And then we had to turn it all back outside again. And then he had other jobs to do. And the weather wasn't, I don't know. So he was home a lot more than usual. And I was getting like, I need you to go someplace. This is my house. So that's, you know, that alone time is really important.
It
gives you
is.
time to think and just to relax. Another thing I added was laughter. Like, how do we miss this?
That's very important.
Yeah, laughter.
You
So
can laugh.
I put it in orange to go with social health because we laugh a lot with our friends, but also it's part of your mental health. So it's outlined in pink. So I thought it kind of went into two different areas, probably goes into more areas. It affects your mental health as well, your physical health. So I like to laugh. I think probably I laugh too much and try to tell jokes too much, but
I like that belly laugh where you start to feel pain because
yes,
you can't stop laughing. And it just yeah.
Well, you know, I'm in a deep laugh if I start snorting. I just go, like, I can't even do it now. I can only do it when I'm really laughing and it's like I wheeze or something and my kids make fun of me. But, you know, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. It's gotta be part of what you do. Social health. Gail talked about setting limits. And so I stuck it down here with, you know, friends and family. Like sometimes you have friends that are just too intrusive, right? And family as well. And so you have to set limits and you have to, I probably should connect that to alone time. That is like, sometimes you just need a break if personalities are too large. And let's see, in the spiritual realm, I added forgiveness. We talked about forgiveness and prayer. Those two weren't on there before. So how about it? Now, I'm going to just look at this for a minute and I want you to look at it, and anybody who happens to be watching, if anybody is watching today, probably I should be seeing if anybody is watching, that if there's something that like an area that you feel like, this should be my next thing to tackle in my life. I have several, but you can't do it.
I have several too.
Yeah, but you can't do everything at once, right? So you have to kind of pick and choose and figure out, you know, for me, I was on such a great diet for a while that I was, you know, I lost a lot of weight. I lost 20 pounds and then I lost, how much did I lose? I lost nearly 30 pounds, but now I'm back to losing only 20 pounds. So I have to get my act together and get back to that because, are you still seeing the diagram? Mary, do you still see the diagram on your screen?
No, I'm good.
No, what's on the screen?
The diagram.
Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering. Because I was looking at something else. But yeah, I have to get back on track because I've started to gain the weight back again, and I've been teetering, you know, between losing the 20 and 25, but I keep going back to the 20, and I want to get
I'm
back
doing
to
this
40. Yeah. Well,
I'm up and down, all around, you know.
But
2
I'm not
pounds
moving.
up, down.
Yeah, but I'm within 5 pounds, and I haven't left that in the last 3 or 4 months. So I haven't lost more and I haven't gained more, but I'm steady in there, but I'm higher than I was possibly a year ago when I was still gung-ho about all of this. So I got to get gung-ho again. And tonight I made a good choice. Tonight I'm not totally plant-based, but I had mahi tuna and I was like, okay, I'm going to make this as healthy as I can. So I put some seasoning on it and put it in the air fryer. And then I found a bag of cauliflower rice. So I said, oh, that's good for you. And I found a bag of broccoli. And I was like, oh, that cauliflower rice and the mahi, they might be dry. I need a gravy, but I can't just go get a fatty gravy and whatever. You can't put chicken gravy on tuna. I mean, I suppose some people do, but I wasn't going to do it. So I used my cashews and I put cashews and water in the blender. And then I added different seasonings and I kept trying to make it darker like a gravy, but I couldn't find the right combination. So it has a little bit of everything in it, but it turned out to be really tasty. And my husband was like, oh, this is good. He goes, this is very unusual. I'm like, what, that I made you a meal that you can eat? He goes, no. He goes, it's an unusual meal. He goes, I don't think you'll find anybody in America who's having this tonight. Like, okay, whatever. So my dad didn't like it, but he never complains. He eats it until he can't eat anymore. And then he just scrapes his plate and that's it. And we don't talk about it, but he's so limited in what he does like. So I stopped trying to please him. It just doesn't work. So. Okay. So, back to inflammation. So there's acute inflammation, which happens, it's targeted for something specific and it's usually short term. And then there's the chronic inflammation, and that's what can cause trouble. It's slow, it's long term, and it can last for a long time, from months to years. This says that generally the inflammation lasting for, generally the extent and effects of chronic inflammation vary with the cause of the injury and the ability of the body to repair and overcome the damage. Chronic inflammation happens when this response lingers, leaving your body in a constant state of alert. I was trying to understand this relationship, and I was like, well, does that mean that pain causes inflammation and inflammation causes pain, or how does that work? And that's when I found the law of pain is that the origin of all pain is inflammation. So I think it's caused by an injury or something happens, and then that inflammatory response happens and it does its thing. And we feel the pain from that inflammatory response because, like, we're supposed to, right? Otherwise you don't know that you're hurt sometimes. But I found an interesting graphic that I thought might help explain it a little better. Now I just have to find where I left it. Because it's kind of cyclical. It goes around and around and around. And yes, inflammation causes pain, and then the pain in turn, like, gives you more inflammation. So here we go. I found it. There we go. So this is the cycle, right? You have pain, you get muscle tension, reduced circulation, then you have muscle inflammation and reduced movement, which causes more pain. And it just keeps going around and around with this pain cycle. But without a doubt, they were very clear that inflammation causes the pain. Now, inflammation in itself is a really good thing because it's a response to something going wrong in your body, and we need that to happen. It's when it becomes chronic that it is a problem. So you have to kind of get yourself out of there. I'll show you that one later. That's her. So the other thing about inflammation is that there are certain things that create more inflammation in the body, and that inflammation in turn can cause disease and a lot of problems. So obesity, diabetes, infection, and injury are those four things that can make inflammation, can cause inflammation and make it worse. And then in turn, all of those other disorders and diseases that are in black are things that can happen because of that chronic inflammation. So your joint pain is because you have inflammation there. why do you have inflammation there? Well, that's what you have to figure out. You know, for me, I had a touch of arthritis, and I had in my hip, I had dysplasia, which was something I had from birth, and the socket had just worn down. So, but a lot of these other things, like you can have these different problems because you have inflammation, and that's where you have to kind of dig deeper and figure out, why do I have inflammation? What was the underlying injury or problem that caused the inflammation? This is another one that's very similar to that. So diseases linked to chronic inflammation, and it's very close. Eczema. Who knew? I have a little bit of eczema that I treat every single night with a little thieves and a little frankincense on my foot, because that's where it is. So when I go to bed, I put it on there, and it seems to have cleared it up a lot better, but it's still there. So I must have it.
So these ones in yellow, does that come before the inflammation? They're the
No.
cause?
The
or
inflammation, like chronic inflammation, can cause these things if it's left unchecked. And from what I read, there's a lot of times people don't know that they have chronic inflammation. They don't even know that it's there. We tend to get really good at ignoring certain things. Like right now, my back is hurting me a little bit, and I'm like, well, that's because I haven't exercised and I'm lazy, and you know, my belly's big, and so it hurts my back, or whatever it is. But I don't think about the root cause of that pain, you know, that there's inflammation there, causing pain, but how do I get rid of that, right? And probably for me would be exercise, and maybe watching my diet. Again, the diet is big on this. We talked, I started making notes about foods to eat, and then I realized, oh, I kind of did this before. We talked about this a few weeks ago, but their recommendations are for the foods that fight inflammation: apples, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. Well, I had broccoli and cauliflower tonight. Maybe I'll go have an apple now. High fiber foods, whole grains, fruits and veggies. Anti-inflammatory nutrients like vitamin D, which you can find in salmon, canned tuna, and mushrooms. Magnesium, which is found in nuts, legumes, avocado, and spinach. And sometimes you might have to take supplements like fish oil or turmeric. Other factors to improve inflammation, to get rid of that chronic inflammation, is exercise and varying those workouts so that you're not doing the same thing all the time to the same muscles. And also, if you're doing a hard workout, if you've like, I don't know, gone to the gym and you're doing weights, that while your body in recovery, you don't want to just sit down. You want to take a walk or do some light stretching, because that allows that inflammatory response to work better, to do its job, and then to go. So if there was something about, I'm sorry, I don't understand it completely, but something about that, if you work out really hard and then you just collapse, I think you're causing your that inflammatory response to work harder, and it's not as efficient. So makes sense. And that, you know, that sounds reasonable. You know, finish a hard workout, just take a walk or do some light stretching, do that cool down session, right?
Yeah.
Yoga and meditation are really good for inflammation, and just improving your sleep and reducing stress. We talked a little bit about the cortisol hormone in past weeks, how that gets out of whack, and that can affect everything, right? Stress.
Yeah.
Stress. I always tell my mom, stress can kill.
One
us. Stop
second, I'm
worrying.
gonna disappear. I'm still in the room. But,
Okay.
oh no, she stopped. She's starting to cry, and I wanted to get her up, but now she plays this game with me now. She walks away and waits till I lay down or sit down or get relaxed, and then she starts all over again. She's so cute, but still, you know, enough is enough.
Their personalities change a little bit as they get older too. I notice that with my cat, you know. She's much more mellow.
Mm.
I used to tell my mom that stress kills, and she was a worrier. She worried about everything. She worried about what people thought of her and what people thought of me or my dad or anybody else, you know, like just worried about everything. And I'm like, you can't control what other people are thinking, so stop.
No, you
You
can't.
know, and the more you worry, the more you just create stress in your life, and stress kills. So don't worry, be happy, which ironically was one of her favorite sayings, according to some survey my brother gave her one time. But we all kind of laughed at that because she did worry a lot. So, but she was also happy.
I just read about, oh, well.
Oh,
Just
well.
say, oh, well.
Oh,
Oh,
well.
well.
Oh, well.
That's gonna happen, and
That's
there's nothing I can do about it, and just
right. You can't control
sort
it.
of along the same way. Yeah.
And I have a problem with control. I know I do. Like I micromanage my husband sometimes, and he just look, you know, he has enough of it. But I know I like to be in control, and I like to, because I'm an organizer. I like to have everything nice and neat. I label everything, you know, so that's part of my DNA there. But I have to take a step back. I have to do the oh wells a little bit more and it doesn't matter, you know, like why would I pick a fight over something that doesn't really matter? So I got to let it go a little bit more. Okay. Things that cause chronic inflammation. Untreated causes of acute inflammation. So if you have an infection or an injury and you haven't treated it, that's going to cause chronic inflammation. Autoimmune diseases can cause it. Long-term exposure to irritants like industrial chemicals or polluted air. Not in everyone, but for some people, like that's a factor. It's a trigger. Also, experts believe that a range of factors may also contribute to chronic inflammation, like smoking, obesity, alcohol, and chronic stress. And we talked a little bit about, it says when you're living with chronic inflammation, your body's inflammatory response can eventually start damaging healthy cells, tissues, and organs. So it doesn't turn off, it turns on and it doesn't turn off, and then it starts affecting the healthy parts of your body. And over time, this can lead to DNA damage, tissue death, and internal scarring. And then those can all be related to those diseases that you see on the screen. How is it diagnosed? Well, there are no real tests, but blood tests can tell you, like, if you have a C-reactive protein, which indicates infections or inflammation in the general body, like the joints. But a lot of people don't know until they see a doctor and they talk it all out. So if you're not feeling good, trust your body and go talk to a doctor. So inflammation, this is a little bit out of order, but inflammation is the flood of white blood cells and chemicals that our immune system unleashes to ward off damage or infection. As I said before, that's a good thing, but when it gets out of hand, it's a bad thing. Now, I also looked because there's a correlation between inflammation and cholesterol, and I have to get my cholesterol on track in less than a month. By the end of the month, I have to have another blood test, so I gotta have it done. So cholesterol wouldn't be nearly as dangerous without the process of inflammation. So let's see. They identified inflammation as a primary source of chronic disease, such as cardiovascular disease. And so the cholesterol isn't, like, they were researching whether or not cholesterol was to blame for cardiovascular disease. But a lot of times it goes back to inflammation, and the combination of inflammation and cholesterol is what is really bad. So When high levels of cholesterol occur in the bloodstream, excess LDL cholesterol begins to seep into the inner wall of the artery, and this triggers an inflammatory response, which actually speeds up the accumulation of cholesterol in the artery. So it's a catch-22. It's like you have high cholesterol, and then that triggers inflammation, which makes more cholesterol. So that's that 1-2 punch is what you're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we talked about ways to fix that. It's an unending battle. I think there's just lots of things, and you have to do your due diligence on every level, which I don't know who can do that. I mean, I'm sure there's some people, you know, I find out all this stuff, I educate myself, and then I don't follow through the way I should. I try. I guess that's all you can do is try, but I gotta try harder.
You'll have to try harder, I think,
Yeah.
sometimes.
I'm still not exercising yet. I got to get back in and exercise.
Yeah, you
Especially
were pretty gung-ho about it.
like all of July, it was really good because I made that pledge I was going to do 30 minutes at least 3 times a week, and I ended up doing it 5 times a week and sometimes longer, and that was good. And that was in the heat of the summer back there. It was really hot. But then I don't know. I did a little in August, and then things happened and COVID happened, and I haven't been back very much. So I gotta get focused. I think what I need is a life coach. I need somebody who can help me set up my day. I know I can do this myself, but then I need somebody who's looking over my shoulder and telling me what to do. Because, you know, I have 2 philosophies. One, I know I would do much better if I had a set schedule and I did the same things at the same time every day, with a section of free time for like whatever happens.
Yeah.
But when I set that up, I end up not following it anyway. So that's part of my problem. And I also need a personal chef, somebody who's going to put good, healthy food in front of me. And I don't have to worry about it.
That tastes good.
Half of my stress is, what am I going to cook for dinner tonight? And will it accommodate all of our food needs? You know, my dad's, and Dick and I can eat the same things, but he doesn't like to go too gung-ho with the vegetarian stuff. So I throw him some meat once in a while, but my dad, he's just, you know, chicken and beef. Anyway, but yeah, so I need a little bit of help. And I know, I keep joking, I need a life coach, but I know I'm the only person who can make that change, because I'm the only person who cares about me that much to make those changes. So, all right, my recipe share also deals with inflammation tonight. So I'm going to pull that up. I actually have 3 recipe shares. Actually, it's 2 and some oils. So I'm going to share the screen and see if I can find it. Let's see, shared that. Okay, so first of all, we're talking about inflammation. These are some of the oils that are good for inflammation, for general pain and inflammation. So there, we'll make it a little bit bigger. Bergamot, clove, German chamomile, camphor, eucalyptus, ginger, lavender, helichrysum, peppermint, rose, rosemary, thyme, vetiver, wintergreen, yarrow, patchouli, juniper, fennel, and clary sage. You know, they were in alphabetical order, and I think then they said, oh yeah, what about these? They're not in alphabetical. Lemongrass is also a big one, and Palo Santo. Those are 2 that you're going to find in my recipe that's coming up in a moment. So this one is one that I use twice a day. I need you, and I bet you can't guess where I put it.
Your needs.
Yep. So Palo Santo, I read somewhere, I can't remember, that it actually helped to regrow some of that cartilage on the knee in an athlete who was like wearing down. He was a marathon runner, and he was using that, and it was actually very beneficial and actually helped to start regrowing the cartilage. Don't know if it's
I have bone on bone.
Yeah.
both my knees.
I did too at one point on the one knee. The other one's getting there. Like earlier this week, my knee started killing me in the middle of the night. What the heck did I do while I was sleeping? But I went up, tried to get up to go to the bathroom, and I couldn't even put weight on it. I had to like limp into the bathroom, and then I found a knee brace and my cane and put them near my bed. And actually I lathered up with, not lather, but I put a lot of Palo Santo and lemongrass right on my knee. I didn't even put it in the carrier. And copaiba is good good anti-inflammatory, and it's also helps the other oils do a better job. So those are these are good for joints and inflammation. Now, before I created this one, I created this one, Uninflame, which is what is it? Stop the inflammation, right? Uninflame. And that one has lemongrass, copaiba, thieves, and lavender. And so that one I found really helpful too. I actually had people who used that, and the first time they used it, their pain went away immediately, and they were like, whoa, that really worked. So both of them, the reason I switched over to Need You is because I needed it for my knees, and I read about the Palo Santo. So those are the two that I use pretty regularly for inflammation. And you don't have to use it on your knee. You can use it anywhere your inflammation is. I think it's more of a joint thing on these, but
Yeah.
along your spine or your back or whatever, that those are, some good recipes for those in roller bottles. All right. So we kind of ran around when it came to what to talk about next. So I'm going to go back to this, because we got to make a plan for next week. For me, I struggle back and forth with my diet, but I think it's more about laziness than anything else. I've been sleeping better, so I think I'm okay there. I think diet or exercise are the two things that I need to refocus on.
Yes, I need to refocus on them too. I need to focus on them for the first time. Really focus on
I need
them.
to get back to that. And also meditation for me.
I can't meditate like on my own. I like sit there go, I can't do that, but I can listen to the meditations.
Yeah. Now they have some different apps that they just talk you through it, which I guess are okay for training, but to me, it feels like I can't get to nothingness if you're talking to me. Shut up, but then you need them to tell you what to do next. But I don't know. I have to investigate a little bit more about that. And I find a lot of times like doing yoga is very helpful. Because after you do yoga, if you've done it right, you like everything kind of is like, oh, I need a full body rest. And years ago when I took an in-class yoga class, we would finish and we'd be laying either usually on our backs. We'd be just laying down flat, and I could fall right to sleep after that, because everything was just like, wow, you worked so hard, every muscle, and you wouldn't think that in yoga. A lot of times people think of yoga as like, oh, that's not really a workout, but it really is. But then I could just go right off and be in nothingness right there, and without even trying. So getting into meditation is tough for me as well. Maybe we should go there. Figuring out how to meditate.
I have no clue how to meditate.
Even if it's like a 5 or 10 minute break during the day, right?
Yeah.
Just a way to kind of, I need to sit and think. And I think a lot of times it's a stigma that we feel like, what, I have things to do. You mean I'm just supposed to sit here for nothing? And what if somebody saw me? Nobody would see me here, but But yeah, finding balance in all of these things. I think Gail said it brings you peace. Maybe it was Kathy, I'm not sure, but anyway, all right.
I don't think you're gonna find balance in all of them, but just working towards getting
Right, right,
and
absolutely.
maybe get it in a few key points in each, because we can't do everything.
No.
It's, like, I'm not gonna drink any wine at 5, so I don't drink. So,
Well, no, and we already said to limit alcohol. So like that was
yeah.
just sort of, I threw that out because of the blue zones that they do that in Italy. They get together and they have
Yes.
a glass of wine and it's their social time. So I think it's more about the social time at 5 o'clock.
And they have a siesta, don't they, in the middle of the day?
In
Everybody closes their
Spain,
stores
in Spain.
in Italy, I think.
I don't know about in Italy. I don't know.
Yeah. I
Not
had
while
read
I
that
was there.
somewhere.
I know in Spain they do. They
Or
did,
maybe it's Spain.
but I
Maybe
don't even
somebody
know.
else.
I don't know if it's common anymore because they have so many tourists that they can't shut down. They wouldn't make any money. But I don't know. My brother-in-law's going to Spain in a couple weeks. I'll ask him.
You can
They
figure
have
it out for us.
They have a siesta.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll figure it out for next time. So I'll leave you with my inspiration for today. See if I can find him. Keep pushing the wrong buttons here today. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
In here, it's in there. And this is what I need.
Oh. There you go.
Don't eat that. Stop it. I need tough love, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I could train my cats to do it.
There you go. You could train them. We'll go walking around with treats all day and
Yeah.
start with that little cat treat.
Give me that.
Because they can
Well,
jump. Now, see, Megan can't jump, so I'd have to be down on the ground.
Right.
practically. Mm,
Yep. I don't need a personal trainer, just somebody.
yeah, that's adorable.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for joining me, Mary. I
you're
thought it was a
welcome.
great conversation. It went really fast and
Yeah,
a lot of good stuff. So I appreciate you. Thanks for joining me.
I just have to soak it all in and keep it in there.
I know.
And don't go out.
That's my problem. I like do all this stuff and then I go, oh, what was I talking about? Well, I read about that once. What was that? Oh, well.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank
Well,
you.
yeah, I'll see you next week. Hopefully.
Yeah.
We may be planning a trip. I have to figure out how that all works. So
All right, well, you'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out, even if I have to Zoom from the car.
All
All right.
right.
Night.
Good night.